It's like, to me, this I categorized as like super softy shit because yeah, you're fucking required. Like if you want to like be a part of a fucking team, you are required to whatever, quote unquote, defend your fucking design decisions. Hey guys.
Dude, you know that song they were like, I'm begging you. You know what I'm talking about? To put your
No.
loving hands now, baby. I'm begging. And like, well, this guy has this like super raspy voice.
It's like an 80s song or something?
No, it's new.
Oh, I don't know it.
Yeah. I bet you if you heard it, I'm just giving you a bad
All right.
reply back. But
You're just, okay.
I'm just screwing it up for you. But anyway, like he's got a super raspy voice, and normally, like I'll sing like all crazy for the kids and like do this like crazy scratchy voice. Like since my throat and like I can't breathe, like I tried to do it this morning because it came on when we were going to school. Like I couldn't do it at all. So like just trying to do anything with my voice just makes me not be able to breathe. So it sucks.
You couldn't serenade the kiddos before going to class, huh?
I couldn't scream sing at them this morning. It sucks.
My son, Essex, he's been, playing Roblox, and they just make the weirdest shit in there. And one of them is like sitting in a classroom, and there's all these like commands you can give your person. And one of them like jumps up on the table and plays the Rocks rap, where it goes like, it's about power. I can't remember the lyrics.
Yeah, it's about power.
It's about something. It's about power.
Yep.
And he just kept playing that, and so I brought up the lyrics for him, and he like memorized them, and he just 100 times kept playing that. I don't know why I brought that up. Just the kids jamming. I just thought it was funny. Well, The Rock also is family friendly as he is. He says fuck in that verse, and so it got to that. So my son's at the point now where he hears fuck, and he recognizes it. He's 7, so he's not just watching, the kitty shit, but they don't say that. Well, let me step back. They don't actually play that verse with fuck in it on the on Roblox. But when I was like, oh, he loves this song, let me find that, and I found just that clip of The Rock singing because it's like another rapper's song.
Yeah.
Anyway, I go to play it, and he's
Tech or something.
Yeah, something like that. Which I've never heard of, but so Essex is like, this is awesome, and he's like jumping around, and then it goes, motherfucker, or something, and I go, oh, it's all right. And he finally was like, why do people say fuck all the time? He's like, why do people say, because he knows he's not supposed to say it. And I think I've tried to approach it a little differently, where I'm like, you shouldn't say that. So one day we were in the car, and he was like, do you know what WTF stands for? And I was like, yes, do you? He was like, yeah, but I can't say it. And I was like, well, you can say it to me. It's okay. You just can't say that, you can't say it anywhere else or whatever, something like that. And he was like, what the fuck? And I was like, yep, that's it, buddy. I was like, be sure not to say that in class. But anyway, so he's asking me, so he knows he's not supposed to say it. And honestly, I don't care about words. It's just a societal thing. So, but I told him, I was like, well, buddy, people use that word to express themselves. But I said, it takes an adult to understand the right way to use it. I was like, that was kind of the best way I could get him to understand. Because, everybody says fuck. And if I ever want to even listen to a podcast, sometimes we're in the car and we'll play music together. And then if it's a longer ride, he'll want to get on the iPad. And so it's either, do I endure just listening to him in the back seat on the iPad? I try to have conversation to try to know that I'm we're having this good conversation. But he's like, Dad, no thanks. I'm really into this right now. And so I'll play a podcast. It doesn't matter what podcast I listen to. They say fuck. And he'll be like, Dad. And I'll be like, sorry, buddy. They're excited right now.
Are we going right now?
Yeah, dude, we started 4 minutes ago.
Oh, I was waiting for you to hit start. I had no idea. I thought you were just
Oh,
telling me a story because I was like, well, I'm just gonna
well,
clean
I
up some
was, but
emails. I'm just gonna clean up some emails while I listen to you talk about it. I didn't know we were really going.
I
No,
thought you
so
just like completely didn't give a fuck.
yeah, I could care less about what the fuck you're saying. No, what's interesting about that, like Hawk just came in and it's the same. Let me turn off my do not disturb everything. Oh,
Should we
shit.
start over? Should we keep going?
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it's my fault. Like I'm all over the place. I didn't know he started. But along the lines of the fuck thing is we're weird parents. Like we don't really censor our kids. Obviously I cuss a lot. Dorian cusses a
Yeah.
lot. But we basically allow them to cuss if they're singing a song. So
Oh, okay.
like, because we use lyrics as like a way for them to like we figured out it was a good way for them to help them read because they're super into the song, but then they won't know the words, and so there's like, and then we're like, no. So we download the lyrics and then kind of make them do a performance and like sing it back to us basically. So it like helps them learn how to read, but it kind of is like defeats the purpose if they can't actually say the real words, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things.
Well, your kids are sweet, and they're well mannered and all that. So I've never heard them say anything that I was like, oh my god.
It's one of those things too, where it's just like they know I'm allowed to say it, they know they're not allowed to say it, and they know they're getting permission to be able to say it while they're singing a song.
It's like
you know what I
candy.
mean? Yeah, exactly.
It's like, Dad, can I please sing the song with fuck in it to you? Well, if you go do all your chores. Nice.
Pretty much. That's how it goes. Do something, get something. You know, that's our house
you
phrase.
get to say fuck.
You get to say fuck.
And one day, once you graduate from college, you can just say fuck for free all you want.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
if you want. I mean, if you want to be the next me, yeah. I mean, have at it.
So we got a couple of interesting things, I think, to talk about. So a couple of tweets. So one of them I ran across yesterday is from a guy named Dave Klein. And I know, like, I've been following, as we've discussed before, I've been getting on Twitter more often. And it's a pretty interesting little universe. A lot of whiny complaining. But especially in, like, design Twitter, it's really interesting. It's like, how is this the social state of, like, design conversation? It's so like fucking complaining. But anyway, one of the things I've heard is, I've read and all that, is that a lot of companies are doing a lot of layoffs, which is really interesting to me because, we just literally went through a phase of, like, there are not enough designers in the world to do, to fill all these roles. So it could be good for some companies, or good for especially some small companies that have really been struggling to get good design talent. But, and I mean, of course, you and I know people are always like, do you have any designers? So maybe we'll actually have some people available now. Hopefully everything goes well for everyone. But anyway, this guy's tweet basically said, worried about getting fired, prepare now. And then I just thought it was, I just read it without seeing that there was like a thread. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. But then saw there was a thread and it was like, firing people sucks. The only thing worse is being fired. It is easy to push the idea from your mind. Ignore it. But in each life, there are moments that matter 100 times more than others. Those are worth being prepared for. This is one of those moments. Maybe a little extreme intro, but basically he's like, he goes down through, I'll try to be really quick and you just jump in if there are any.
Yeah, I'm reading I'm reading it as, because I didn't actually look at it when you sent it earlier.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of reading through it as you're talking. But
yeah, well, so what do you think?
You finish, and then I'll tell you my.
Well, I was gonna just start kind of reading through them.
Well, my initial thought though is just like, I don't know. I kind of hate this. Right? Because this is, I mean, we've talked about this before. It's like, you know, it's like when we have teams, we're very much like a family. And this is like this is very much like a communication type thing where this person is assuming that like you just don't talk to your boss and like you have no fucking clue.
Well,
you better prepare for
dude,
the worst.
but
You know?
really, you have to understand, right, that like these are a lot of these people do work at companies that aren't like what you and I have built in the past.
No
and
doubt.
It's
No
even
doubt.
to the point though where even if you and I had built something that grew to be like some of these companies have hundreds of designers. I don't know about thousands, but I would say maybe Facebook and Google maybe have thousands of designers. I don't really know actually at all.
Yeah.
But when you get to that scale, you're no longer like the chain of like communication. I mean, I have actually been at a company where there was a lot of layoffs, and that chain of communication just is it's too long to know kind of really like you probably are going to hear the rumblings first, right? Before you're communicated directly by your manager. Plus, the last thing, you know, I will say this, even at a small company, you don't want to like surprise somebody, but what the fuck was I going to say? Well, you don't want to surprise somebody with like, hey, you're getting let go, but you also don't want to like scare them away. If you're like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
if you start telling them that it might happen, then they're going to be like, oh, great, I'm going to start looking. And they might bounce whenever you never actually needed to pull the trigger on like reducing cost in the turn, you know, in regards to laying people off.
I follow what you're saying, but I still feel like, at least the way I'm reading this, and maybe it's just my brain of being like overly negative, it just feels like nothing, and just like always prepare for the worst, like just always be looking for like another job while you're there, even if you get the feeling get the feeling
that's not
that
really,
someone's gonna get fired.
That's not really how I read it. So I mean, the first one is watch the radar, which is kind of like I said, like you hear the rumblings, like some shit might be going down. Really, the way that I've looked at this, I actually thought it was a really good post. It's kind of like, I think a lot of people might kind of fall into that ignore it sort of category, or
So, but hold on. That's the one part of this that I want to address. Is that to me is the stupidest fucking line ever, and that's not what I'm saying whatsoever. If you feel the rumblings, the first thing you should do is go to your boss and say, "What's going on, man? Is there something like should I be looking?
I completely
like, is everything
agree.
kind of crazy?" And that doesn't say out of the 20 versions of this I just read through, like they didn't say that anywhere. It just says all the things to like start preparing for the next one and build this and do this and don't waste any of your money and do all this. Like it doesn't say communicate with fucking people, you know?
You know what? I actually I love that response. However, I do still think that these aren't bad. Like I don't think that communication, look, we've talked about it 1,000 times. Communication is, people are pretty shitty at it on both sides. You know, a lot of managers are shitty at communication. A lot of fucking employees, you know, that report up to somebody are shitty about communication. Some people might just be too fucking nervous, and I get it. Honestly, I love what you said. You should actually try to address it, you know, have communication around it.
I mean,
But
yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I've been laid off multiple times, like, and I feel like both of those times that I can think of, maybe there's more. 2 times that stick out in my head, I completely was caught off guard because one time it was an industry
That's
thing,
shitty.
like just like, you know, the world was collapsing, and then another time the company was doing great. Like
Well, that's
there was
extra
nothing.
shitty.
There was nothing going wrong, you know, and it was just like,
why do you know why they made the cut?
I found out like 10 years later what happened. So I might have mentioned this to you before. So I took this job in Hawaii, right? To build, I was at Match, you know, working on the biggest dating site in the world. This company wanted to build a Hawaii only dating website at the time. So I was like, hey, hire someone from Match. Makes total sense, right? So I get out there, I build a team. We start working on it. Halfway through the project, the dude changes his mind. And he goes, I don't really want to do dating anymore. I want you to make a site where if you sign up for a credit card and you get approved, we'll send you a box of free Hawaiian chocolate. And we're like,
Wow.
what the fuck are you talking about, dude? That's the worst idea I've ever heard in my entire life. He's like, no, it'll be good. It'll be good. So he makes us go away from the thing that we all knew and that we all moved out like here and sold everything we had to move out here for and start working on this credit card site. We make this site literally the first day, just starts bringing in cash, just works out of the box. And we're just like, oh my God, this guy is a genius. How? Yeah. Like, this is so dumb. I mean, literally just money everywhere. Everyone's getting approved. And the credit card, like affiliate things, they pay out like hundreds of dollars, not like $5.
Yeah.
You know? And so we had this huge set of like marketing things and emails and all this kind of stuff. So we were just making bank like right from day one. And so, and this was like 2 weeks after we launched, and it just starts killing it. So 2 weeks after we're done and we're like all patting ourselves on the back, he's like, hey, just wanted to let you know, I'm going to have to let you and your team go unless you can come up with another idea that pays for all of your salaries.
Oh my God.
And we're like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, we literally moved here to make a dating site, which you didn't let us do. We just built another product for you and it's actually working. And you're saying that the only way we get to keep our jobs is if we come up with something else that pays for all of our salaries? Like what is going on? So I fight with him because like I had hired these people. Like, it was my team, right?
Oh, okay.
So I felt horrible. Like, these people just moved here, you know, like across the world.
Yeah, I just talked him into moving here. Yeah.
And so one guy left a job at Google. Another one left another job like at another dating app. And so it was like, it was just nuts. So I ended up working on a deal. We got like 6 or 7 months severance, right? And like we were in our 20s, so that was like free money for like half a year.
Yeah.
You know, so it worked out. But then a few years, like a friend of mine still worked there. And so I find out later on what happened. So that was a really long story to get to what happened. What happened is, so there was this, like, I don't know if you call it a grant or whatever, but there was a government initiative in Hawaii where if you brought technology companies to Hawaii government would pay 100% of what you spent back to you. And so I forget what year it was, but basically it was like in that 12 months. And so basically from the time that grant started to the 12 months, I got laid off when the 12 months ended. And so essentially it was like, that was the end of the free money. And so he just got to use us and play for a year. And when we were done, it was like, cool, I can get rid of you guys. And it was like, you were never here, but I got products out of it. So the dude made money off of us multiple times. So, I mean, it was smart on his point. I mean, on his end, he killed it. Like, so it sucked on our end, but you know, it all works out. But anyway, back to the getting laid off part. One of the things though, that I feel like I didn't do, I felt nothing. There was no rumblings. There was no nothing. It was nothing but positivity.
Well, yeah.
And I felt like I was younger and like I didn't feel comfortable trying to have a real talk about what's going on. Can you at least explain it to me what's going on? I just got pissed and I was like, started fighting basically. You know what I mean? Like, I wish now I could have had that conversation to like, even if it was a grant thing, be like, oh, that's really interesting. Maybe if there's a renewal of that, I'm going to start my own company here. And now I'll do that. Thank you for that. Now I learned something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, where it was like, well, okay, give me some fucking money, I'm leaving. You know, I was just like, fuck this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I do it differently, but anyway, it sucks to get laid off, but it sucks even more to not know why.
Well, yeah, and I've never had to lay off I've never had to do layoffs. I've had to fire people, but I've never done it like surprise or anything like that. There's actually like a really kind of overly long protocol. I've actually waited way too long to let people go that I should have let go, which is another bad move that you kind of just have to learn from. Because, I don't know, like, to me, firing someone, that's one of the worst feelings, that I've personally had. I mean, may sound shitty. It got a little easier as had to, do it more time over my career. But like, I remember going into layoff, I don't know whether that was my first person. I mean, for a long time, I remember going, when I had to have that meeting, I would be so nervous, and I'm not the guy like getting fired. And, I would basically have to like write my notes down because I didn't want to ramble. That's one of the number one things you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to be very like concise and don't have any conversation as a manager because, your HR team's afraid that you're going to like maybe say something that person could potentially use and, create a lawsuit or something. But anyway, it's a shitty feeling.
Annoying. No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I've actually had to
stupid.
I've had to do day of find out and let them go in the same day, like firings. And that was the shittiest feeling ever, where it's like we had a bunch of contractors, but they had like basically become like our full-time team. And like something went down with funding, and like the CEO was just like, you need to get rid of everyone on that team now. I was like, what do you mean? Like I should give them some notice? And he was like, no, now. And so literally like I had to like go, okay guys, let's all go to the coffee shop. I'm not going to do it here in front of the whole company, and like have to have like a conversation of like it was the shittiest. Cause like contractor or not, you become part of like the crew cause you've been there for a long time. It's like, there's people, it's not just like a number. And like,
right. Yeah.
Dude, and it's like, it's so personal cause it's like you said, like we're the last person to talk to you, like at the company. And so
we're
like,
gonna change your life.
You're gonna remember me and hate me because it's like I'm the memory of you getting fired at the place,
right?
And like that sucks. It's like the shittiest feeling ever. But anyway, yeah, I'm with you. Firing sucks. I'm gonna check my visitor.
Well, funny you mentioned the contractor aspect of it because there was a time at a company that I worked at that business wasn't going as well. And, finance had a meeting and it was like, we're going to need to not renew our contractors. And, in the way that worked, I mean, literally the contractors were hired only as contractors and not full timers for that kind of like scenario. But as you said, like we didn't treat anybody any differently. Everybody came to everything, all the company all hands stuff, literally no difference. And so whenever we didn't let anybody go, but we didn't renew contracts, and we let them know that we weren't. I mean, we didn't just today's your last day or anything. But when those people were gone, the vibe in the company and the perception in the company was that we just had a massive layoff. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fuck, no, we didn't lay off a single person. But getting that through people's heads was not easy. And I honestly, like, that's when we started to grow to a certain point where moving forward after that, we actually had to like make some distinctions in the things that contractors could and couldn't do, which was kind of shitty. Like some of the all-hand stuff.
Dude, I literally was just about to bring that up. So it's so funny that you went that direction. It is my biggest fucking pet peeve. And I get it's like a whole HR bullshit thing. But like when we have to treat someone that's not full-time and someone that is full-time completely different culture-wise. And like, you don't get birthday cake because you're a contractor. Or like whatever. You can't come to like this event and have lunch. Or like whatever. I get that there's a cost associated with it. But like birthday cake and like can't have a free donut in the morning.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been to so many places that it was like that. And like I'd get these emails that were saying like, you're going to have a talk with so-and-so. I'm like, no, that's cool. They can just have mine because that's ridiculous. Like, seriously, like it made me so mad because especially too, more than 50% of my team at the time was a contractor. So you're basically telling me, the full-time person that has to manage everybody, that your team's a piece of shit and they don't get shit and they'll just get what we give them. You know what I mean? So you're basically slapping me in the face, not just them. So
totally,
I don't know. It gets me going, dude. It pisses me off so bad.
I actually, I didn't enjoy any of the separation, but we didn't do anything like that. Like the biggest thing that, kind of sucked would be, the company all hands meeting, which is pretty like clear. Like the whole company is going down to meet except for you and you.
Yeah. See,
Yeah, it's
some
shitty.
things I understand. Okay, like, hey, we're gonna talk about the financials of this company, and we're gonna talk about whatever, and like this person might not be here tomorrow. I get it, but when it's like super minor things that actually,
Like a fucking donut, like lunch, like that's
well, because
stupid.
here's the thing: is someone might be a contractor, but the real intention or goal is that they're so awesome, you want to make them a full-time person. And when
Yeah,
you put
totally.
them off on an island like that and you treat them like differently and shitty, they don't want to become full-time people. Like you're
Yeah.
essentially like making it like impossible to do the thing that we're actually trying to do. You know, like
Right.
contract to
Build the
hire
culture.
is the term. You know, we can start off, we have like, you know, it's like we could leave at any moment if we want to, but if things are great, I want you to stay. But we're going, hey, but we're going to treat you really shitty, but we still want you to stay. Is that cool? You know,
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
you are familiar with a more extreme version. Like I definitely never treated anybody shitty, but it was just like like what I mentioned, like any delineation at all kind of felt shitty. Um, but the conversations that I had was like,
Excuse me.
I don't know, I would be kind of, you know, growing into some of these management roles. It's not like I had anybody to tell me like how to like have those types of conversations, but also you and I are on the very empathetic side. I know like, other folks would just be like, nope, you're not allowed to come or whatever. And I'd be like, no. And so I'd have talks with people. I was like, hey, just FYI, we got we have the all hands meeting, but as a contractor, you're not allowed to meet those or whatever. I try to be, just kind of cool and kind of almost even use a language of like, yeah, sorry, bro. It kind of sucks. And all the people that I had to like tell that to were like, nah, I get it. I was like, okay, cool, man. Like, I'll keep you posted. But like not giving them like donuts in the morning or a birthday cake. Well, that's a whole nother topic. Fucking birthday cakes, in general.
Honestly, it's weird, right? Like I get the all hands thing, but when you're doing culture specific things for the company,
I
and then
completely agree.
You exclude them. That to me is like just idiotic. Like it's just completely.
I agree.
So I don't know. I'll shut up about it because I feel like I'll just keep getting mad. But yeah, I don't know. Contractors are people too.
I'm with you, man. You don't have to get mad.
Maybe it's because I was a contractor for forever, and I just like. But I don't know. I never did like. I always did like I work from home contractor. Like I was more of an agency style freelancer thing. So it's like I never had to deal with like your in-house thing as a contractor. But I don't know. As a manager, you just like if you report to me at all, I want you to be happy. I want you to have all the things. So I don't know. It's just one of those things.
Oh, nice. Well, let's. If you need to cry, you just do it.
Just give me.
Well, anyway, so this guy is. We won't read all of them now because we've kind of chatted about it for a bit. But anyway, this guy's name is Dave Klein. Look him up on Twitter. DaveKline. I don't know. I thought it was actually a good post. For people just to kind of get prepared. I think there's some other good stuff. So one of them, I'll just mention one because most of these I think may seem kind of obvious, but I think it might be good for somebody who's like, I don't know, maybe somebody young that's like, I hadn't been thinking about this at all. The one that I did think was good is his point number 5, which is be gracious. Basically, it's like there's no other choice, none. The decision has been made. You might disagree with it, but that's irrelevant. So say, I understand or empathize with, their position. I guess maybe your manager, which is also hard to do. But also, I think to your point, that's like an opportunity for some communication. But yeah, I don't know. I did think that was good because the reason that I think so is like, consider you being the manager. Consider it being Ray, this guy who's super empathetic, who cares and wants his team to be super happy. And now you do have to let somebody go. And maybe it was a bit more, unexpected. Maybe maybe it was more like a week, something happened or something. I don't know. And you've got to go have the conversation, just like putting yourself in that position of the manager. Like, you are a good person. And if this was actually a good person and not being fired because they sucked, well, it would suck for them to maybe say something that they regretted that maybe changed your opinion. Now, I know you're a really like empathetic guy, so it probably wouldn't really, you'd understand why. But I also think it's, you know, good to think about, you know, how this could impact future opportunities. Because you being a good dude, knowing, having such a network, you could be like, dude, I'm going to get this motherfucker a job ASAP, or I'm, you know,
I feel like that's
whatever he wants.
Every
right?
time I've ever let somebody go that I felt like was great, I already had somebody in mind to talk to them. You know what I mean? Like, hey, just
actually,
FYI,
I just
I
remembered.
already talked to this person, and probably it was you most of the time. You know, like I was like, hey, I'm having to let this
Right.
person go. Steve's going to give you a call here in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
But-
well, no, that I actually do remember. I did have to lay some people off, and I placed them, or I helped. I mean, I couldn't have just placed them if they weren't kicking ass, but I helped place them at some pretty big companies. And the funny thing for me at the time, it was a company that I was running, and when I placed them, they made more money than I ever made fucking ever. And I was like, oh,
Yeah. It's like a
Maybe
bittersweet moment right there when that happens.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't, I guess the bitter side was I'm very proud, but also like, maybe I should just get a job with you.
Yeah. Can I come work for you now? I have a question for you on this topic.
Yeah.
Do you think, or what's the percentage of people that you think actually aren't prepared for something? Because this is where I'm going with this. I feel like it is instinctual these days that if you have a bad meeting, somebody says something you don't like, or anything that happens, especially now we're remote and Zoom days, the first thing you do is you open a tab and you go to LinkedIn, you say, who's hiring right now? Right? So I feel like the majority of people out there kind of instinctively have a backup plan, at least know who's hiring, know like friends of friends that are looking for things. And so, but I don't know, maybe I'm
That's
off.
interesting.
What do you think there?
Well, I'm probably on the other end of the spectrum. I've actually never been fired technically. I've parted ways with one company, like mutually parted ways, but so I've never really had the, okay, let me take that back. It's not that I've never had the fear.
Excuse me.
I guess I've just never, I've never been close enough to the point where I actually thought I was going to get fired. And so I've never, well, and then, I mean, if I'm thinking about us, you and I used to always, I mean, I don't now, but like back in the day when we were doing hands-on design work, we were doing our own websites for like little side projects. And I don't know. So I guess to your point,
fired is weird though. So like exclude fired, like exclude like you think you're going to get fired or laid off. I'm just saying,
okay,
like you're not happy, right? Or you're
that's different in my head. Totally,
no, it totally is. But
and
but
I've lived that life too.
But it's not different in the preparedness side. Right, like being prepared, knowing how, like new jobs that are out there, where you could go, other connections, all that kind of stuff. That's part of the preparedness for the next job.
Yeah, and if it's on you, like that's kind of proactive. I mean, you're gonna get prepared if you're unhappy. I think what's different though is if you were fucking totally happy, things seemed like they were going great, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we've got to make layoffs. To me, I was gonna say like, I think maybe this is wrong. I have no idea, but my first instinct was that a lot of people wouldn't be prepared, but
no,
I don't know.
Interesting.
I mean,
that's why I was curious. Just the other side. Just for me, like it's not that I'm ever unhappy. A lot of times I just kind of get bored. I'm very
which is
much
kind of
I'm a goldfish.
Still, right?
I'm a goldfish. Like I just like shiny new things, right? Like that's been me forever. And like, I mean, the job I'm at now is the longest I've ever worked anywhere my entire career.
Yeah.
Right. Which is not a long time. I've been here 3 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, I'm normally like, I come in, I do my thing, we kill it. And after a year I did that thing. And now I'm kind of like, okay, what are we going to do now? What's the next new thing? And then, so for me, it's not even that I'm unhappy. It's not like something bad happened. It's just like, I'm just curious of what's out there. So I'm kind of like I get newsletters all the time. I'm not even looking for it. Like, you know, like this person's hiring or this recruiter hits you up or whatever. Like, it's just kind of like this influx of information about other things that are going on. So to me, that's still part of being prepared. I was just curious. I feel like, I don't know, there's so many memes and stuff right now. It's like, oh, Tracy said that we're going to work through lunch today. Let me get on LinkedIn and see where a place that I wouldn't, you know, have to work through, you know, like it's just like such a, no, I'm good. I don't want to work at a place that makes me do anything too much. I'll see what else is out there. Or it's like, I could be making more money if I went here, you know, kind of thing.
I've left company. I've left both of those reasons early in my career. I left a company because I wasn't happy. And the thing is, for me at that time, I convinced them to let me start like a web development practice. So like I got to keep doing stuff, but it was just like shitty leadership and lack of like good, you know, pay. Then the second place I went to, I stayed at for like 5 years, and I continued to like have opportunities because it was like it was a product company in the fashion realm, and I got to basically continue as long as I was doing interesting stuff that added value. Like I pretty much just like forged my own sort of path, I guess. That kind of sounds lame, but you know what I mean? Like I wasn't just doing like mundane stuff. It was like, great, now we're going to do like the first, you know, community site or whatever, when that shit wasn't just a normal thing. But at that place, I got to a freaking salary ceiling where they were literally, I had to have so many conversations where it was like, well, you know, we only do 5, you know, whatever X% increase per year. And I'm like, yeah, but look at what I've done. Because for this company, I actually like launched like their first global ad campaign. I built like this like site, all this shit. And I was like, man, I'm bringing serious value. Makes sense to me that I get a fucking serious raise. And they're like, yeah, whatever percentage. And I was like, all right, got to balance. But then from there,
1.5%.
Yeah, something really stupid. It was like, this $500 per year extra is really going to fatten my pockets up.
It's like it's like a grandma Christmas card that you get.
Yeah.
It's got $100 bill in it. You're like, yay, this is how much, you know, that's as the same amount that my company gave me as a raise this year.
Dude, but $100 from grandma is pretty on point.
But
for just being your grandson.
Totally. But it's also for one day. It's for one day worth of work. It's not for the 365
it's like 1
days
hour.
worth of work. Yeah. X amount of hours that it took to pop out of your mom. But yeah. Anyway.
Well, hey, dude, let's stay in the Twitter sphere. I've got another one. This is actually from a few weeks ago, May 4th to be exact, by a guy named Joe Natoli. That's Joe.
With you.
That's right. Natoli. You know, and I go check these dudes' profiles out. These all seem like pretty bright dudes. This guy wrote he was like thoughts for the day, UX and design friends. And he's got 3 points. And it kind of triggered me a little bit. So I'll read them to you. Number 1 is, you were hired to do your job because other people, bosses, executives, etc., can't. Okay. I was like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Number 2 is, you're required to have a reason. You are required to have a reason why you made the design decision you did. I was like, yeah, definitely. But 3 is, you are not required to defend those reasons or that work to anyone. And that's the one that like really triggered me, because I was like, what the fuck? Like, it doesn't, like, this is like, to me, this I categorized as like super softy shit, because yeah, you're fucking required. Like, if you want to like be a part of a fucking team, you are required to whatever, quote unquote, defend your fucking design decisions. I totally like didn't understand that, because of course you do have all these people that tweet, you know, respond to it, and they're like, hell yeah. Like, just because you're a designer doesn't mean that you're like a fucking god. Like, you're a part of a team, and you have to explain the logic that's in your head for the craft that you provide.
Yeah. This is totally in the design snob realm right now. Like, And I'm going further. Like he's like, somebody is like, what do you mean you can't defend your designs against criticism? And then he goes like, you need to read the comments. It's not what I'm saying. And then his next comment is like, should you be challenged by people who don't know the first thing about your work? Never. I'm like, no, they're your bosses. That's literally what they do, is they just want to challenge and make sure that we're doing the right thing and push the limits and maybe come up with something better. I get if he's going down the route, which it doesn't even sound like, if you're like, I hate purple, can we try green? I get that.
Right.
We've talked about that before. But this is basically just saying, like, I'm a fucking designer. This is what I do. You don't get to ask me questions, and I don't have to tell you why I did it that way. Just be happy that I did it for you. You know what I mean? Which sounds really fucking douchey. You know, like, I don't know. Like, and even like when he responds back in these comments, it sounds so hostile. Like, you know, like you're talking about stupid questions, you know, and hostility, condescension, and this is so disrespectful. You know, I'm like, it's not disrespectful to go, so why did you choose to pick that photo? You know, what made you made this full width versus fixed width? Like, these are like,
just consider
just have an answer, you know?
Right. Well, and also consider the fact that you are the expert, like, and the people that you're doing the work for, like, need to understand what the fuck you're doing. Like, if you're explaining like a complex UX flow or something, because you know how it goes, like, anytime it's like, oh yeah, just a couple apps and it just does this. Well, they haven't thought about everything. So when you design it and you've got like 20 screens, yeah, brah, you need to like fucking walk them through it and explain it. And if they have questions or if they have an opinion, dude, they're a fucking person. They're a fucking person that uses this shit, you know? And I actually think that his point number one, you were hired to do your job because other people, bosses, executives, et cetera, can't do it. Like, well, I've hired a lot of designers and I could, but I shouldn't if we're going to like create a, you know, build a company and like, which provides you this job, but like maybe your boss could do it. And if, you know, and maybe somebody else could do it. I don't know. I just thought it was so strange. And this guy's not a young guy either.
Well, what's super interesting. I mean, no, he sounds extremely bitter, but what's interesting is like, I'm going through the thread. There's another guy that's like trying to have like a conversation with him about it from the other side. And like, he's just constantly like, you know, going back and forth. So, but I really like the guy that's responding, Justin Shearer is his name. The guy that's like trying to have he made some good points. He's like, he goes, yes, but the reality is that it's their company and they pay you for a service. Regardless if you think it's like great, you know, it's like the client and the person paying you needs to be happy with the output, right? Like how many times, like I can't tell you, I feel like every time I put together the first concept and I fucking love it so much. It's so good. It's the best thing ever. And it's the one I'm going to put in my portfolio, but it's never the one that they pick. But they always want this other little thing because their competition's doing it like this and they kind of want to stay in the same sphere or something. There's always something random reason.
Yeah, you're not. Well, you make a good point.
You're
not running the business.
It's not yours. Yeah, it's like if it's your agency and they came to you and gave you free reign and told you, then that's your role. That's have at it. But if I'm paying you to do what I want, and like that's kind of our job, you know, like is to make the client happy, and they're the client. Like, and if they ask me a question why I did this, I need to be able to respond, or I look like a fucking idiot. You know,
well, not only that. Yeah, agreed, but not completely agreed. If you can't explain your rationale or your decision making, you're not prepared, and you didn't really think it through. But also being able, like, you can have different opinions, which is going to be common. People are going to have different opinions about the way something works. Being able to defend your decision means that you actually might get them to understand a different opinion in a way that gets them to choose like, oh, okay. I get what you're saying. Cool. Like, let's do it that way. Yeah. If you don't explain it,
which happens to me on a daily basis, like with my boss, where he's like, I just don't understand why you're doing like this. And we're like, well, let me break it down for you. Here's why we decided to do this.
Let me break it down for you, idiot.
You know? No, but he even
I'm
like
just kidding.
This last comment that he has like really like, I don't know, it rubs me the wrong way, because he's like, if you accept this, then they'll just keep telling you what to do until the day you stop accepting these orders. Where it's just like, he's just like, almost like he's having some like big, huge thing where it's like, stand up for your rights or something, you know, where it's just like, dude, you're making this way bigger than it needs to be. Just fucking change it to blue and move on with your life, and don't have them as a client anymore, you know, or something. It's just like, God. But this is one of the things we talked about last time, you know, with like the whole dribble videos and stuff like that. Like, if this person like comes off this way at all, like, I would never want to hire this person. Like I couldn't imagine the horrible conversations we're gonna have when I'm gonna be like, hey, what do you think about trying it like this? They're gonna be like, you know, like, so I don't know. It's just, it's just one of those things. I think too, there's just like you said, he's a little bit older guy. He's probably our age and older. I think he's just jaded, man. Like, he's just tired of doing the thing. He just doesn't want to do it anymore. He wants it to be art. You know, we've talked about that before. Like, there is doing the job, and then there is creating art. And I think he really wants to make art, and he's being forced to do the job. And that's hard, especially when you've had to do it for a long time. You know, especially when you get older and you're just like you start thinking about retiring and doing things, like, you're just like, I just want to be happy and I just want to make art. I don't want people to tell me what to do anymore. And it seems like that's where this guy is.
Well, I checked out his profile. I mean, to be honest, he's obviously like, he's got opinions. He's obviously not an idiot or anything. I mean, he's got like 15,000 plus followers. Some people that I know that follow him that I respect as good designers, and he sells like a course and all this. So, I mean, it's kind of, it's interesting. You know, it's just interesting that there's these other opinions for someone at his level that probably manages a lot of people. I mean, you know, to make those kind of comments, I would like, I'm just really interested how how big of teams he's had to, like, you know, manage, how big of projects he's managed, you know.
But this is what the other interesting, we talked about this a little bit before too, where it's just like, I'm looking at his stuff, and I don't want to say anything negative, but you wonder if people are just really marketing savvy, right? Like, the point, like, is he just smart and knew that it would get a rile of people, and it would start conversation, and be able to do things, and it would like start like having this thread and engagement. You know, like, I always wonder, like, are people just really that smart? Because I feel like I'm not. Like, I don't think about like my tweet.
Well, we're clearly not.
If that's I'm just like, hey, here's with my breakfast burrito. You know what I mean? Where they're like, what could I say to just really piss off an industry and get everybody to like hate or love me? And then they've got to pick a side. Then they all want to like jump in and tell me I'm wrong, and I'll tell them why I think they're wrong. And then I'll be like, hey, by the way, buy my course. You know, we can talk about it some more. You know, like I really do wonder if he is, you know.
Well, you know, it's got us talking about it. I mean, of course, neither of us necessarily agreed with any of it, but man, maybe you're right. Dude's a genius. He just fucking, we're promoting him on the fucking number one podcast
Joe
for
Natoli.
White noise. Yeah, totally.
That's crazy.
All right, man. Well,
Obi-Wan Kenobi comes out tomorrow, just in case anybody.
Oh yeah.
Or tomorrow for us.
I
don't know when this episode's coming out, but
not tomorrow.
Last Friday, the 27th of May is when Obi-Wan comes out, and I'm pretty fucking pumped about it. Also, I'm in trouble for my wife right now. She just texted me
regarding the same thing?
No, not regarding Star Wars. Regarding she sent me the husband photo of the gas gauge being empty, right? Because she had to go to Dallas. But I'm not in it. I was like, this is not my fault this time. Last night I was like, hey, how much gas you got? She goes, I got plenty of gas. Don't even worry about it. This morning I was like, hey, how much gas do you have? Because I knew she had to go to Dallas. She goes, oh, I got more than a quarter of a tank. I'll be fine to get there and back. Well, now she just sends me a picture of it like on E with the light on. So I literally was trying. Like I was gonna stop everything I was doing to just go take care of it, But I'll probably.
Was she gonna remember you making that comment multiple times?
Of course not. No, of course not.
Yeah.
I'll have to pull up videos or
fucked.
something of like the Ring camera in the house or something. You're like, remember at 4:37 p.m. when I asked you about your gas gauge and how much gas you had? She'd be like,
Let's
nope.
go to the other camera.
Nope, I do
Here
not
we
remember
go at
this.
7:28 a.m. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'm gonna lose anyway.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
You've already lost.
Oh,
all right,
I'm
bro.
going on
Well,
vacation.
anything else we want to catch on? Oh, yeah. So, headed to Mexico, huh?
Playa del Carmen. I've never been there before.
It's nice.
The only time I've ever been to Mexico was my senior trip. We went to Cancun, which is not something that's
wild
smart
time.
to send 18-year-olds to
God,
Mexico.
no kidding.
It was so horrible. Yeah. I mean, horrible.
Wait, it was horrible? Or I mean, the shit that you did, if you're a parent, would you think it was horrible?
Yeah, just thinking of it as a parent. But I mean, for me, I didn't drink. I didn't do anything. I just kept my friends alive, like not get hit by a bus and not get arrested. And most of them don't remember that story. And that's what I'll tell at like all of our events that we have at the house. I just remind them about how they wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But
by the way, you'd be dead if it wasn't for me.
Yeah, that bus in Cancun
yeah, whatever,
took
right.
your ass away. Or Tony would have been in Mexican prison for trying to like fight a cop, all those things. And it is true what they say. Like if you have enough cash in your pocket, you can make bad things go away with police officers. So
yep,
always have
I know
cash
that intimately
in your pocket. So
yeah,
hoping I don't have to deal with any of that with my 2 children and my wife going to Mexico on vacation.
No, well, Playa del Carmen's like the grown-up version of Cancun. Kind of, it's still touristy or whatever. It's the same.
It looks pretty cool. I'm honestly just pumped to like eat street food and like shrimp and fish and stuff and sit on the beach. And I say I'm going to do nothing, but I feel like it never happens. There's always like something happens at work or something like needs to get done. But regardless, this is like our first family vacation in like 2 or 3 years since the pandemic and everything. We had to cancel all of our stuff before.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, then you got to like definitely make sure that you get yourself into like the mental zone of like being, relaxing. Yeah, especially if you're gonna like. Did you say you would check email and do work while you're gone?
Oh, hell no. I don't ever say it. But like I said, like me and my team are very close. Like we don't just like not like when the day's over, like we still like text each other and stuff.
Okay. Well, it's coming from a team member, not necessarily like,
I don't think there's going to be, I don't think there's going to be some fire drill from the exec team.
Okay. That's a little better.
So yeah. I hope not. I mean, we're working on a bunch of partnerships right now, so it potentially could happen. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping, dude. It's just like what's his name, Dave Klein. I'm just preparing, So I'm just trying to make sure I got all my ducks in a row and everything's good. But for the most part, I will not be on my phone. I'm debating whether or not to even take my computer.
Don't take it. Don't take it, man.
I'm thinking I might just take my iPad and like if an emergency happened, I could draw a picture, I could do whatever, but I don't have like my laptop.
You don't have to get in. You don't have to get into the weeds. Dude, don't do it. Yeah, that's the best way. If you're not actually able to, there's going to be maybe a moment where it's like if something did pop up and you need to do it, where you'd be like, fuck. But then you can't. So then you get to go like, all right, well, might as well go back to chill zone.
Yeah, I guess I'll finish this margarita then.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm pumped though. We've been watching YouTube videos and stuff, and apparently there's this like, I don't know how to say it right. I'm fake Mexican. It's like Xcaret or something like that.
Oh yeah, Xcaret. Yeah.
They've got a bunch of hotels and stuff, but there's one that's like an eco park. It's like 300 acres. And apparently it's like some like Disneyland
I've been there.
for Mexico with like lazy rivers and shows and like all this crazy stuff. Like that looks awesome.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
pumped
a
to go
show. Dude, I've been there. There is a big show at the end of the day. The funny thing is I feel like this is an experience thing where they've American culture, they've learned how to like productize like the shows and like everything to a point where they're like, they know how long it should last. They know like there's a specific sort of like story arc or whatever, whatever it may be. We went to that and the show was like 2.5 hours because they just keep on like doing performance kind of stuff or whatever, like playing
just
like
feeling it.
They're doing. Well, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I think it's just always a long show because they just have all this stuff, which is kind of cool, like, because you just get to continually see shit. But at a certain point, you're like, holy shit, we're like going on 3 hours here.
Like, I'm fucking hungry.
No, that place is cool.
No, it looks awesome.
That place is pretty cool. They have like an actual beach on it.
Yeah,
it's
so if you have
definitely
any
like
other ideas, be sure and let me know.
Well, Fifth Avenue is a cool little,
I found
trendy street.
the one thing that I'm probably the most excited about, which is really weird, but there's this restaurant that's actually like in a cave, and like it's like 10,000-year-old, like what is it called, like the little crystal-y things hanging down, like the
stalactites.
Stalactites, thank you. So it's like this whole cave and this whole restaurant, and it's like you're like essentially like keep going deeper and deeper into this cave. And like apparently like it's got like really high end food and stuff like that, but it just seems like the coolest atmosphere to be like, we're not like just swimming in the cave and walking around, it's like we're like having an experience like in it, like I don't know, I'm pumped. Like I love the beach, I love water, and I love me some tacos, so I'm pretty pumped for some tacos.
The Holy Trinity, beach, water, and tacos. Fuck yeah.
That's all I want. I mean, is that too much?
Excited
to ask for?
and also jealous. Yeah.
Well, come on. Randomly, we found out that our neighbor down the road is going to be there. They leave Sunday. We leave Monday.
The same time.
Yeah. And they're like, all right, guess we're getting drunk this weekend. Let's do it.
Yeah. Nice.
So, hell yeah. I need to do my, what'd you say? Charcoal pills. What'd you say to take?
Oh, yeah. If you want to help a little bit with that, refined charcoal pills before you have like a night of like heavy drinking.
Like take it right before, take it like, in the afternoon. Like
after is not going to work quite the same. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean,
like we're going to dinner
right before you start. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're heading to dinner. Take them now, or like I wake up in the morning and I take them and I'm good for the day.
No, like, next morning they're not gonna do shit. Yeah, you take them before you start putting shit in your body and kind of supposed to absorb some of the bullshit that you keep your body from processing.
Okay, that's a new product right there that we just came up with the name. The shit absorber.
Yeah,
Stephen Ray's shit absorber.
Man,
and then again, there's like the black pills because they're charcoal.
They are black, yeah. Wait, am I absorbing Steve's shit or hang on? This isn't what I thought it was.
This is the worst $30 I ever spent.
God damn.
Oh, fuck. That's awesome.
All right, nice, man. Bro. Well, dude, have a great trip.
I will. Nice knowing you.
And yeah.
Maybe I'll come back.
Or send me a postcard.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe I won't come back. I'll just stay there. I mean, I work remote, so I mean, I guess I could.
I recently heard somebody tell me, they're like, I'm thinking about maybe moving to Mexico. And I was like, wow. Because, I mean, they just work remotely and there's really no reason. I mean, they can travel back and forth.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's so much cheaper. And he was like, dude, we had this amazing dinner, like really good food, not like, not just like not great versions of what good food would be, but he was like, it was fucking amazing. And I get the bill and like, he was like, it was $100. Now that may sound like it's not cheap, but like what we got would have been like multiple hundreds of dollars. And he was like, and it was so nice. And we were on the beach and he was like, I think I might just fucking move there. I was like, oh, well, I'll come visit.
Same time zone. I mean, for Texas too.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
that's the only thing that sucks because like I want to move back to Hawaii, and the time zone difference, since a lot of our people are in Texas or even worse, like on the East Coast, is like
what's that difference? 4 or 5 hours?
Depending on what do you call it? Like daylight savings time. It's 6 hours.
Oh, right.
For Central.
Oh.
It's like 5 or 6 hour difference. And so we always have a 10
that's more
o'clock
major than I
meeting.
realized.
We always have a 10 o'clock meeting, which means my 10 o'clock meeting is a 5 a.m. meeting now. So, and maybe that's a good thing. Then I start early, have to get up and get going. I don't know.
Yeah. You have to jump on a meeting first thing. Sounds amazing at 5 a.m.
Yeah. I get up at 4 just for fun, just so I can be ready for my 5 a.m. meeting. But the thing that's
Ray
interesting
always
though,
looks
is
like
everybody, but you go to lunch and that's when everyone's going home. So it's literally after lunch, you're just let me just knock some shit out and I'm done. Boom. Didn't get distracted.
Yeah, I could see that part of it. I mean, I do love, there was a time where for a long period of time, I got up at 4:30 and I would go hit the gym and then basically go and do work. And by the time everyone was waking up, I was like, God, I got a whole day's worth of work done. And then,
I've never been able to do that. It sounds awesome in theory, but I've never been able.
It's fucking hard. It's hard when you get out of the habit of it. The good thing is with waking up early, if you get into the habit of it, it gets way easier after a week. And then after 2 weeks, it's it's pretty fucking normal.
I mean, even though there was those times that I'd work out with you and stuff and we'd go crazy early in the morning, that was the hardest fucking thing on the planet for me. And then when I get there, I'm just I fucking hate everything. I don't want to do this. This is stupid. And it's obviously you feel okay after you're done, but just the getting there part is just I hate everything. Fuck you, Steve. Stupid idea. Could have done this at 9. It would have been fine. I don't know. I also don't sleep till late, so early mornings
that's a problem.
And late nights is very diffcult. So, but anyway.
Yeah,
we're making this episode go really long.
We don't have to get up early.
So sorry, people. I'll tell you about my diet later.
Yeah. All right. Well, sweet, man. Well, dude, have a great vacation.
Yeah, man.
And I guess we'll miss you for 1 week. And that's it.
You'll be okay. I'm sure fucking Dan will show up and try to replace me again.
Well, I'll get somebody. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Hold on.
Oh, shit. But before you go, get her, Ray.
Commercial.
Hey, gang. Have you ever thought about starting a podcast of your own? Well, quit thinking about it and get started. Check out riverside.fm. It's an amazing platform that allows you to record high-quality audio and video directly to your computer. They've also got amazing built-in editing tools that you can use directly in the browser. It's super easy. With a few clicks, you'll be ready to publish. Quit waiting around. You want to start a podcast? Get started today. Check out riverside.fm. Use our promo code UXWeekly. What are you waiting for? Can't wait to hear your podcast. All right, cool. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Later.
Deuces.